Hi, I'm Sherry Austin, registered nurse and executive longevity advisor. I help leaders build the systems that allow them to sustain high performance over time. And what that really means is this: I help leaders stay clear, decisive, and effective without burning out in the process. Good afternoon, and thank you for waiting for me. I usually come on at 12:30 sharp, but today has been one of those days, as we all have them. If you're a CEO, founder, or senior leader, I want to start with this. This morning, I had to stop everything, not because I didn't have work to do, not because I wasn't prepared, but because I could feel it. My decision quality was off. And here's the truth most people won't say out loud: you can't outwork a dysregulated nervous system. And let me repeat that again. You can't outwork a dysregulated nervous system. So when I'm talking to you all, I'm also talking to myself. A lot of the times when I come on here and I do these mini executive lunchtime briefings, executive briefings, a lot of the information that I come with is not just case studies and research back, which everything I do is research back. I come from an evidence-based background working in high acuity environments in the hospital for over 28 years. So everything was validating your information and evidence-based practice. But a lot of what I come on here with is also lived experience that I know that works, that I've seen it work with other leaders. You cannot lead effectively when your cognitive capacity is compromised. So instead of pushing through, I took an extended cognitive reset. And today I'm going to break down what that actually looked like in real time, why most leaders resist doing this, and how to build this into your day without losing your productivity. This morning started with personnel issues and personal pressure. Nothing dramatic, but it was enough to create a lot of mental noise, and there was a lot of emotional carryover. I had subtle decision fatigue. Now, here's what most high performers do in the moment: they push through, they override, they keep moving. I'm raising my hand. I was one of those that would do that. That was my first go to. I'm looking at the time. I don't have enough time for this. I have meetings, I have things to do. So my term used to be, I'm going to thug through it. But when you thugging through, this is what happens to everyone. And this is what used to happen to me. My decisions get slower. My clarity drops. And I'm constantly second guessing and reworking the same situation that would normally take me nanoseconds to complete. My conversations became very reactive instead of intentional. And that's not a motivation problem, that's a capacity problem, because my capacity, my cognitive capacity was compromised. And being compromised, there was erosion, and then that led to emotional reactivity. I could feel it early. So I made a decision most leaders don't make. I stepped away on purpose. And let me walk you through what an extended cognitive reset actually looked like. I didn't scroll on my phone. I didn't go take a nap. I didn't go to my favorite, used to be my favorite go to, which was eat and snack. This wasn't a distraction. This was intentional recovery. I disengaged from input. I actually went outside for a walk in the fresh air and in the sunshine. And I just breathed. I box breathed while I walked. So I created some physical movement and shifted my breathing and my nervous system state. That removed the decision pressure from me temporarily because I was able to discharge the anxiety out of my body. So what I was doing is very simple. I was just lowering my cognitive load. I was stabilizing my nervous system, and I was restoring my decision clarity. Here's the key. You don't need to feel better to perform, but you do need to regulate first. This is where most leaders get it wrong. They think recovery is sleep, and I love a good nap, but it is not that kind of sleep that you need in order to regulate your nervous system. And we'll get into the kind of sleep you need a little bit later. It's not vacations, because vacations are usually my time to wild out. So I'm not technically resting or taking a break when things get bad, which we need to, but it has to be an intentional break, not I'm going to go eat. I'm going to go to the bar early and kick in happy hour earlier than normal because it's 12 o'clock somewhere. It's not to engage in those kind of things, because that's not recovery. That's a reactive rest. What you really need is a recovery infrastructure. So there's 3 layers to this. I call it BAS. So number 1 is your baseline recovery. That's your daily stability. This is your foundation. It answers, are you starting the day stable or already depleted? I'm going to repeat that again. Excuse me. Are you starting the day stable or already depleted? Your baseline includes your sleep quality, not just your duration, because you can sleep 8 hours and still not have adequate or sufficient REM and deep sleep. Your morning nervous system state. Are you waking up calm and relaxed? Or are you waking up with yesterday's problems and today's problems already rolling through your head? Nutrition and hydration. Are you drinking water? The first thing I do in the morning after I get up is I drink electrolyte water. I'm hydrating. When I break my midday fast, I start every meal protein forward. Are you doing that? Or are you hyped up on coffee, Coke, and Red Bull, not eating breakfast, skipping meals, and going throughout your day? If your baseline is off, you're already making decisions at deficit. 2 is the A. This is your active recovery. This is your midday resets. This is what I used this morning. This is where you interrupt your cognitive overload. So what I did is I reset the emotional carryover that I had already carried into my morning. I had protected decision windows in place, and when I went to go into my second protected decision window, I realized that my nervous system was too dysregulated, and I was not going to accomplish anything in that state. So, are we protecting our decision windows? Are we protecting those 90-minute blocks? Or are we context switching every 6 to 8 minutes with interruptions? Do we have a delegation system in place so that every decision isn't flowing upstream to you? And this is not optional at high levels. This is how you maintain performance throughout your day. And third is S for strategic recovery. This is your capacity protection. This is what most leaders never build. And this is what it looks like: blocking thinking time. My thinking time is first thing in the morning. As soon as I wake up, I go into a quiet meditation. And during my cognitive resets, I have a cognitive reset after every protected decision window to clear my mind. Do we have that, or are we just going constantly all day long with our cortisol levels raised, not eating, not hydrating, with poor sleep on deck and emotional carryover from the day before? Are you protecting white space? Are you designing your week around your cognitive demand? If you have high stake decisions in the morning, are you taking a cognitive reset after that? Are you actually taking a lunch where you're actually sitting down and being mindful and intentional about your meal? or are you working through lunch? This is where leadership becomes sustainable. And let's address the real issue. Most leaders don't reset because they think it costs. And I'm raising my hand because I'm looking at that, because time is money, but time is also health. And time is also a resource that you can never get back. You can always get back money. You can always restore your health. But once the time is gone, it is gone. But here's what it actually costs if you don't: poor decisions, slower execution, more second guessing, increased downstream problems. You don't lose time resetting. You lose time operating below capacity. And that loss can be in capital gains. It can be a loss in the culture of your organization. It could be a personal loss to your physical health. High performers are at most risk because they've trained themselves to override these signals. Like I said, I was the CEO of the Thugging It Out crew, and I've put that down. I no longer do that. So how do you actually implement this today? Here's a simple framework. Step 1, recognize the signal. Ask yourself, is my thinking slower? Am I rereading things? Am I reacting instead of responding? If you notice that, like I noticed it this morning, I was reacting instead of responding, then step 2, interrupt immediately. Don't wait. And that's exactly what I did. I took the first initial 10 to 20 minutes to walk. That walk became 40 minutes. Then I did a guided meditation for 10 minutes. I stepped away from the input, from the phone, from the noise. So then I was able to engage in step 3, which was to return with intention and not to jump back into everything. So I want you to ask yourself, because these are questions I ask myself and other leaders to do. What actually requires high quality thinking right now? Now that you're back and your head is clear, what do you need to do right now? A lot of times, like I said, we don't have a system, especially a system to delegate. So everything, when your cognitive capacity is eroding, everything looks like it's urgent and emergent, and it is not. Then you re-engage selectively. Let me reframe this clearly for you. What I'm telling you about today, your recovery infrastructure, is not self-care. This is a leadership strategy, because decision quality is a leadership asset. And we're now entering the age of AI, where we're getting inputs quicker and faster. But guess what? Our mind is not a computer. So we are still operating in our finite mind, but we're getting inputs at rapid nanosecond rates. We have to protect our leadership asset, which is our cognitive capacity. That asset is directly tied to your physiology. If your capacity is inconsistent, your leadership becomes inconsistent. If this resonates, and if you're starting to see where your capacity is leaking, I want you to DM me the word recovery. I'll send you my executive capacity audit so you can start identifying exactly where your performance is breaking down. And if you're leading at high level and you know this is affecting your decisions, book a private strategy call. The link is in my bio. Until then, remember, you don't need more discipline. You need a better infrastructure to protect your capacity. I'll see you in the next session tomorrow at 12:30.